So I'm gonna explain all that I'm fixing to start doing on my car. I haven't had much time due to the weather and work and everything's going on with this whole virus thing, and got to purchase some more stuff, some tools, but I'm gonna explain to you what's going on. So I have a S475 turbo that I'm gonna be installing. I have MMX forged pistons and connecting rods. Got the rings and the wrist pins that go with that as well. I'm gonna leave the stock crank because I've never heard of a stock crank failing in these cars, so I want to test that. I have a Hellcat. I have a Hellcat fuel pump. I have Hellcat fuel injectors. I have drag springs. Somebody put it on. These are Carlisle Racing drag springs. On the other side, I have. Let me show you. This is the MDS Delete kit. You got new head gaskets. Got all the seals. Got the plugs. I have new lifters. These are non-MDS lifters. But I also have a Texas Speed Performance. I have a. Let me show you. I have PAX racing springs. That's for the valve springs. This is for the PSI. And I also have a Stage 4 boost cam kit. And here are the specs for it, if anybody wants to know. I have the push rods as well. I have the lock kit for the phaser. And all I'm gonna need for the turbo kit, I'm gonna need the intercooler, the piping, the blow-off valve, and the gate valve, the wastegate valve. So I got to start somewhere. So what I'm gonna have to do is get this on some ramps, take the exhaust first. That's all I can do for today since I'm limited on time. Then I'm gonna take the front bumper off, and I'm gonna start taking it all off in my garage. So I will attempt to do everything in my garage except the tuning. I can't do that at all. I'm not even gonna try. So then I'm gonna have to trailer it to a tuning company. I'm gonna dyno tune it and see what we can do out of it. Hopefully I can run 14 to 16 psi, and my goal is to get it about 800 to 900 horse on a 5.7 on a stock crank. So it's worth a shot, and I'm gonna give it a shot and see what happens. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put this on the ramp, start taking the exhaust off, and I'll let you hear what the open headers sound like on this car. I'm gonna start by removing these two supports that go across. It's a 10mm. These nuts are pretty rusted, but I've broken them loose before. Then I'm gonna disconnect it from the header. I'm gonna drop the whole thing all the way back. Man, I'm out of breath. Well, I got the whole exhaust off from the midless cats all the way back. There's 4 of these brackets I just left on. Just took the bolts out, made it a whole lot easier, just pulled everything out. What I'm gonna do with the turbo setup, I'm gonna use these. I'm gonna use them and I'm gonna cut them up and bend them all into an M shape and bring them into a Y. And that's where both headers are gonna go into a Y shape, and it's gonna bring it up all the way to the front, up under the turbo. So that way I can still use these pipes and save us some money and some time and make it a whole lot easier. And I can still use these V-bands connected with them, and I'll weld some on the other side later on once it brings it into one piece and hook up to that joker. All right, but I'm fixing to go ahead and start this up and see what it sounds like just straight off the headers. And we'll see what it is. It might be loud as hell, I don't know. Let's give it a shot. Wow, it's loud. Whew. Yeah, I know, right? All right, well, I'm gonna get this joker down, clean up the garage, put her back in. Gordon, you're gonna help me. I'm gonna need you to hold this right here. like this. Because when I undo this bolt, I don't want it to fall. Hold it. We can kind of just pull it down at an angle, a little bit of angle. Walk around this way. Keep it right. Set it down right here. Thank you. That's all I need. Yes. Okay, just don't trip on that. Ta-da! I have light. Thank you, baby. All right, now I got a little bit more room to work on this, and I will proceed. So guys, I'm working on getting the front bumper off. You're gonna take the wheel off, there's no other way around it. I tried every other way, just no room for it. But I took off the entire inner wheel well cover because I would be cutting this out and pulling tubing out for the turbo. So I needed to get it off. I will eventually put this side back on, just so nothing's falling in here. It's more aerodynamic. But there's, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, there's two bolts up here, one here and one up top. You will need to take them off. But in here pretty much it's just a bunch of push pins all the way around, other than 3 bolts to connect right here. And of course all the bolts that go up under, I took them all off. There's 7mm bolts and 2 10mm. But yeah, I got all these off. Took the shroud off from the bottom as well. Yeah, I had to shove my hood under there to protect this so nobody steps on it. Got kids running around. But yeah, I'm fixing to take these bolts off for the front bumper right here. Then I'm going to do the same on the other side. Take the wheel off, take the wheel well cover off, and do the exact same thing, pull everything off. I'm going to take the radiator out, everything. That way I can hook up the engine hoist and pull everything out at once. Then I'm going to take the heads off and then take manifold before I pull the engine. That way it makes it a little bit less weight and easier to work with. But yeah, I'm going to put an engine stand and start tearing it down, and we'll go from there. But it's coming along little by little. Hard to make time. Try to mow my yard, but my motor got stuck over there. It's been raining so much, the ground is so wet, so I'm just wait a little bit, let it dry out, and then pull it out anyway. So hi, hey baby, hi. All right, off to work. When you're taking this bumper off, remember to undo the side markers and the fog lights so you don't rip them off. And you gotta undo the headlights. I already got one undone. The other one's undone. So now everything's off. Let's see if I can get this off.
Oh, tough.
Damn. It's one side. Here's this other side. All right. Got the whole front off. Watch out, bud. Move this away so I don't get it scratched up. All right. So now it's a little bit more accessible. Yep, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the whole front off. I'm gonna unbolt it here, just bolts right there, and right there. I'm gonna pull the entire front off with a radiator so I can pull the whole engine out. And we're gonna go from there. So I got the lights off. Remember, there's 4 bolts, 2 up here, 2 down here. When you take out the last bolt, you gotta hold the light because the light will drop down and you don't want to damage it. Yeah, but my next steps are to, I unplug the sensor, it goes to the front bar. I'm gonna take it off. I'm gonna undo all the stuff for the radiator. Well, first I gotta jack it up, drain the fluids to the engine, the trans, the radiator fluid. Then I'm gonna take these bolts off right here, take the whole front off. And then I'm gonna take the heads off, the intake manifold heads. And hopefully then I'll be getting ready to unplug all the wires and everything and get that cherry picker in here and pull the engine out. So it's coming along little by little. Got everything over here. Got all my stuff set up. I'm gonna take it in my attic where it's safe. I got plenty of room up there. I'm gonna keep it up there until I'm done. But yep, pretty excited. The plan is, well, I'm gonna remove this duct. All this right here is we can get cut out. The frame runs through here. I'm gonna weld the pipe for the turbo with a T6 flange on it, and it's gonna be bolted to it right here. It's gonna be welded to the frame to support the weight of the turbo because it's about 37 pounds. Turbo is gonna sit here. Hot pipe's gonna go under to the headers. The cold pipe's gonna come down under. It's gonna go to the intercooler, so it'll be sitting in the front right here. And then the other pipes will come back around and come to here. So yeah, we'll see what happens with it. I mean, I'm excited. Just a lot of work, and I'm learning as I'm going. And yeah, I've been doing a lot of research on it, on the gapping of the rings and the clearance of the bearings for connecting rods and so on, and the springs, how to take them off, how to put new ones on. And it's a lot of work, but it's good to learn, because if something ever happens when you're racing, you can fix your own stuff, save a lot of money, and not have to depend on anybody else. I need a catch can really bad after I do this build. And here are the solenoids for the MDS that I'm gonna remove. I'm gonna delete these. I got the plugs for it and everything. So yeah, gotta clean this up so nothing falls inside. But yeah, I'm gonna clean this off, and then I'm gonna plug them up, tape them up so nothing falls in, and start moving the rest of the stuff. Take the heads off. But yeah, that's pretty nasty. Look at that. No wonder it was burning up white smoke through their back. Hey, let me show you the intake manifold. It's pretty nasty. Let's look at all the oil seals. Even these seals let loose. Look at that, all over them. It's pretty nasty. And even the throttle body is pretty dirty inside. If you can see it, it's hard to see. Yep. I had to actually heat up the vacuum hose that's connected to the back. Get a heat gun, heat it up just so it'll loosen up, because it is a pain in the ass to take off. So what I've been doing is I've been labeling every wire or every connector, sensor, whatever, so I know what it goes to. Because once this engine comes out, everything's going to be tossed aside. You just want to know where it goes to. And now I'm draining coolant. So it's getting down. It's getting pretty close to being done. So yeah, step by step. The transmission is already drained. I'm doing a coolant. Then I'm gonna pull the tensioner so I can take this belt off. Take this off the head. Then I'm gonna start taking the coils, spark plugs, and so on. Well, I'm fixing to take all of the ignition coils off. I'm gonna take the spark plugs out. Oh, it's gonna be a bitch. Let's do that one by hand. Maybe I get a box. This box. There's 4 out. And I'm gonna do the other side and I'll be right back. Well, I took all 8 of the spark plugs out on one side. They all look pretty good actually, considering I was spraying a 150 shot. Everything looks good, so I'm gonna probably reuse these because they're 2 steps colder plugs. So, all right, off to the next side.